Billionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
A poor man prayers,
every man bleeds.
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again. Hey yo, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm aggravated right now. Super aggravated, bro. Like I was saying, man. I don't know what happened, everything cut out. But we just gonna continue the show. I click in, don't even have my audio on. Man, like I said, man, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell every time, so you can get notified every time I drop a video. So we're gonna talk about Trump making this big deal with Japan. He also made a deal with Indonesia and I believe the Philippines. Kevin O'Leary on CNN talking about this whole Epstein situation and how it's really not that important. And he's going to give you his reasons why. Also, Trump at the Federal Reserve today. We're going to see what he was talking about when he was there. And Jim Jordan gives an update on this whole Obama scandal. And we're going to try to end it. Hopefully, we got time, but we're going to try to keep everything on point. And try to end it with the Jacksonville guy, McNeil Jr., who, William McNeil Jr., who got punched in the face during the traffic stop. We're going to give our opinion on that. But I'm a little pressed for time, so we're going to try to speed through this, unfortunately, which I don't. Millionaire thoughts.
Which I don't want to do, but it's just what it is right now, to be honest with you. Everything is just messing up, and it's like throwing me. It's throwing my rhythm off. I'm not even gonna lie. It's really blowing my shit. Anyway, man, let's get into this video.
We just signed the largest trade deal in history. I think maybe the largest deal in history with Japan. And that was done with Japan. They had their top people here, and we worked on it long and hard, and it's a great deal for everybody. I always say it has to be great for everybody. It's a great deal. A lot different from the deals in the past, I can tell you that. But we're doing really well as a country. We're strong. We have a lot of money flowing in. The tariffs are kicked in better than anybody other than me and a few of the people in the room thought could happen. We just came in from the Oval Office, where a few people got to watch the negotiation with Japan. It was interesting. Doug Burgum, I think, might be here someplace. Doug, hi, bud, Doug. And I said to
pretty much, I'm not even gonna. He shouting out some names or whatever. I guess who was involved with this whole deal.
But pretty much he made a big deal, a $550 billion deal with Japan. I'm not sure if Indonesia and Philippines is included in that specific deal or they got separate deals, but he made deals with a few countries, and it's a big deal, man. And I I don't understand how people don't want what's best for America, man. He put these tariffs in place not only to make good deals with these countries, but he put them in place so that way these countries can open up their markets so that way we can sell our goods in their countries. It's a lot of countries that don't sell American cars and things like that, but all of these other countries sell their vehicles in America and their goods in America because America is the world's biggest consumers. We buy the most shit here in America. So if we got the best consumer base in the world and every country wants to be here in America because this is where it's at, where you're going to make money, why not make it an even playing field? Because is this all he's saying? I just want fair trade at the end of the day. So yeah, let's get on to this Kevin O'Leary.
What they care about, look at the American economy right now. A lot of people had a lot of mistrust on the tariff issue. Economy's on fire. Indexes all-time highs. Every country on earth wants to cut a deal with America. The average person at the kitchen table is not worrying about Epstein. Don't give a damn. They want to provide for their family, and they are. America's working.
So
this is the American.
So hold on. Let me just say,
working.
Jerome Powell just announced that he's going to hold off on cutting interest rates again
Who
because
cares?
of the tariffs, and we've already started to see the inflationary pressures.
We have a lot
associated with
more
those
on the
tariffs.
economy later in the show, but just one thing that you said, Kevin, that I think is,
Epstein's alive?
No. There are two aspects of it. I mean, I think on the one hand, I think you're right that it's kind of like a niche interest here, this Epstein thing, but the niche is Trump's base, people in Trump's base. But secondly, on the broader picture of what is happening in the country and how do Americans feel about it, CBS YouGov poll asked, how do you think things are going here in this country? 61% said very or somewhat badly. That's not exactly a great indictment of the Trump economy. And then on top of that, to what I was saying earlier, on the Epstein files, this is what Republicans want. 83% want the files released. So I think both of those things is part of why Trump is having a hard time right now.
I hope they release them. They'll still be dead.
Yeah. He will still be dead.
He's going to be dead for a long time.
But Trump lives and dies on his base.
Yeah.
And the base right now they're unsteady.
I don't understand why he hasn't released the files, as he said. It's one of the reasons I believe that they released today the files on Martin Luther King Jr., because now he's able to show, hey, look, I told you I was going to release the M.L.K. file, the JFK file, and also the Epstein file. It's going to take a little bit of time. I don't know the reason why. Personally, I don't think people are going to find Donald in that file as much as they think that they're going to. That's just my personal opinion, kind of knowing him for a decade and a half. Nevertheless, I want to see the file. I'm sick and tired of all of the conspiracy theories that are popping up. If you are a detractor, yeah, he's guilty of something. If you are a supporter, he didn't do anything. This is all nonsense. How about just put the documents in front of the American people, release it, and let us then examine the documents, as we call it in law, documentary evidence. It'll speak for itself instead of listening to all the nonsense.
I would love for them to release the files. I am not at all in Trump's base. However, I care deeply about it because I'm not going to buy this argument that like these young girls were raped by what? By what? Did they rape themselves? No, they got raped by people who are in powerful.
So real quick, man, I just realized that I had it playing, but I had the wrong video up. I'm not even gonna lie, man. I'm trying to like relax because I'm so frustrated that that the video, like literally my whole situation just went out, and I had to literally do all of this prepping that I did all over again. And so I'm just doing all of these like just dumb mistakes, and now I'm just aggravated because the video is not coming. It's not going the way I wanted to, and it's frustrating. So I just wanted to let that be known real quick. But you know, let's get back to this video.
Positions, and I want to know how many of those individuals are currently serving in our government in some role or the other.
American awake for 18 hours a day. How many minutes do you think they spend worrying about this stuff? Maybe they were raped, maybe they weren't. This is not what American families give a damn about.
Just to be clear,
they just
we
don't.
do know that there were victims, so that's not speculative.
We do know that there were victims, and the thing is, people can compartmentalize, right? And the reason why people care about this a lot, not just because of the very real Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking and
so pretty much it's the video is pretty much the same thing. At the end of the you know, Kevin O'Leary is basically saying that that this isn't the let me take this down real fast. My bad. All right, here we go. So he's basically saying that this isn't the most important issue in America. People just don't give a fuck about this whole Epstein thing. What people really care about is gas prices going down, grocery prices going down, and just getting more money put in their pockets. And you know, that's why I first played the video with Donald Trump making this big deal, because these type of deals that are good for America, because not only is it money being generated for America, is jobs being generated, which in return puts more money in people's pockets, gives more opportunity to Americans. And that's what's important, because the more people that have jobs, the more the economy is going, the more it boosts the economy. That's why I said that no tax on tips and the no tax on overtime was a great and ingenious idea. Because if you do no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, it incentivizes people to work harder. You know what I'm saying? Because the people that's working for the tips, they're going to put in more hours because they know that their tips aren't getting taxed. And the same thing with overtime. When it comes to people do a lot of overtime and they're mad because and they don't even want to do as much overtime as they want to, because they're being taxed so much that it's frustrating to even do a whole lot of overtime when they're taking so much taxes from you. So all of these things that Trump is doing is incentivizing people to work harder, to bring jobs back to America that went to foreign countries because of all the regulations and things like that go on right in America. So Kevin O'Leary is right. Yes, are these things things that people care about to a degree, I guess? But he's like, this is not the most important issue, and that's what they're missing. So, you know, let's get into this video right here with Trump. He was over at the Federal Reserve, and let's see what what he talking about.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, and it feels very good, actually, to be back on a construction site. You know, if you remember, not so long ago, we rebuilt the old post office into the Trump Hotel, and we sold it to Waldorf Astoria, and it was a great success, and we had great luck with the building. We did a good job. We built it quickly and relatively inexpensively for about $200 million, and that was a big hotel, big project. But we looked around, and Tim Scott's here someplace. Tim, come on up. You saw what we saw, and the big thing is to get it done. They have to get it done. They have to get it finished. And very importantly, we have to get interest rates lowered in our country. Our country is the hottest in the world right now, but the one section, people are pretty much unable to buy housing because the interest rates are too high. We have no inflation. We have a lot of cash coming in. The tariffs have been unbelievable now. People that didn't even believe in tariffs are saying what a great move that was. We have hundreds of billions of dollars coming in. Japan, just on one deal, is paying us $550 billion. And they opened up their economy. It's incredible, the deal. And they're happy. We're happy. Everybody's happy. but we should have the lowest interest rate of any country, and we don't. We should have. Every point is worth $365 billion. So we want to get the rates down, but we also want to get the Fed building finished. So I met with the contractors, we toured it with the chairman, and we had a very good tour, and we'll talk to you about it sometime. But Tim and I, we sort of understand what happened.
Yeah. Too expensive. Bottom line is this, that Americans deserve to become first-time home buyers. President Trump has created the best economy in the world. The one thing that would make it better is lower interest rates. Full employment is even more possible. Wages rise faster as interest rates come down when your employment is at 4.1% because of your leadership. We have revenues coming in at record-breaking, maybe last month even more revenue coming in than bills going out, which is remarkable.
They found $26 billion. They said, where did that come from? Nobody, I think that's been many, many decades since that happened.
I can't remember that.
They found $26 billion last month, and they said, where did that come from? I said, why don't you try the tariffs? Said it was true. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars, and our country is doing great, and we have no inflation, and the numbers, the job, everything is good. The one thing we have to do is get housing prices down and the interest rates down so people can buy the house, because they're all making money, but they can't get the interest rate down. We have to.
Amen.
All right. And he's been my friend for a long
You've been
time.
on a number of construction sites. Did you see mismanagement going on or funds that aren't?
Well, I see a very luxurious situation taking place. Let's put it that way. And I was given a very nice tour by the head of construction. And, you know, look, if you look over here, they're trying to open up the basement. When you open up a basement, first of all, it's the worst space. Always a basement is the worst space in a building. And it's also the most expensive space to build. And especially here because you have a water line. You know, they're going down into the water, so they have to build what's called a reverse bathtub. The water has to be kept out. It's very expensive construction. So it would have been good if they didn't build it. Would have been good if they didn't do certain other things. If you look at the kind of protection in the hall, have you been able to get in the hall? You saw the protection of plywood. I mean, that was a lot of money just to protect it for a period of time. I would have done it very gingerly and easily and not have to spend, you know, millions of dollars on protection. And there are things that could have been different. Look, there's always Monday morning quarterbacks. I don't want to be that. I want to help them get it finished. It's been going on for years, and I want to help them get it finished. And what we really want to do, and I think I can speak for Tim, and I think I can speak for the entire Senate, we can speak for everybody, frankly, is we want to see interest rates come down. Our country is booming, and the interest rates is a final little notch. And if you look at Europe, they've lowered 11 times in a short period of time. We've lowered 0. And, you know, they are competition, although we're in the process.
And this guy, Jerome Powell, is doing it for no reason. Now, his excuse was that he wanted to see what this tariff thing was going to do. They predicted that the tariffs was going to hurt the economy and all of these things that just aren't happening. The tariffs are bringing in revenue, and he's making big deals with countries. The tariffs were put in place to make deals because, like he's been saying, and I said this before my video went out, if you go back, they got interviews of Donald Trump in the 80s, and before he ever, you know, thought about even being president, he was talking about how America has been getting fucked on trade for years, for decades. And he just wants to do great things for America. I don't see what the problem is. And this guy, Jerome Powell, is holding up lowering interest rates literally for no reason. For no reason. Lowering the interest rates will help Americans. But yet you got all of these Democrat plants out here pushing these fake narratives that just aren't true. At the end of the what people aren't realizing is that everything that Trump does, it's like he wants it done right now. When all the wildfires was happening in California, if you go back and watch the interview with forget her first name, but her last name is Bass. And she was talking about, well, you know, we got to make sure it's safe and we got to make sure this and that. All of these regulations, because that's what they do. That's how they hold up things with regulations. You know, all of these fake safety protocols and all of these things that they put in place to be able to put fines on companies and things like that. Oh, you didn't make sure that same thing that happened with Elon with that I think it was the AI plant or something that he built in what was that? New Orleans. It was somewhere. But anyway, they this is what they do. They wanna find ways to keep taxing everything. And that's all it is. And this is why lower interest rates is a tax. It's tax. You know what I'm saying? So they want to keep taxing motherfuckers as much as they can instead of lowering it. So people dog Donald Trump about, you know, every single thing, but yet everything that he's doing is to benefit Americans. So what are we talking about? And you got guys like Gavin Newsom, who is, I forget what he was building, but he spent billions and billions of taxpayer dollars on a project that ain't even finished, and he overpaid for it. This is what they do. You seen when they was talking about how when they overpay for everything, like they'll pay, you know, $10,000 for a toilet, shit like that. You know what I mean? And they have exposed these things that they're doing. They take taxpayer money and they literally funnel it through these projects, these fake projects. And you got to know and you got to believe that people are getting kickbacks from this. Come on. Toilet paper is cheap. When you buy it in bulk, you damn near buying it for nothing. But yet they're probably paying, you know, $5 a roll for toilet paper. Things like that. Like the things that these people do is mad corrupt, and I don't
probably
get people,
making
man.
a very good deal with them too. They want to make a deal very badly. So we're making a deal. We just completed our deal with Indonesia. We just completed our deal with the Philippines. We're making unbelievable deals, and the money is pouring in. We want to get interest rates down.
But on interest rates, at some point, does the level of interest rates now slow economic growth?
Yeah, it never helps it if it's high. Never helps it. Well, it's already as good as we're doing. Think of how well we'd be doing. We'd be like a rocket ship. As good as we're doing, we'd do better if we had lower interest rates. And we should. We're prime. Don't forget, without us, the whole world collapses. So we should have the lowest interest rate because, you know, you can talk about Switzerland, you can talk about wonderful countries, no debt, but without us, everything collapses. We should have the lowest interest rate. And if you took it down 3 points, not a little bit, but 3 points, if you got us down to 1, we would save more than $1 trillion, basically with just a paper transfer. You wouldn't be cutting costs of anything, you wouldn't be building anything. Just a move of the hand saying we're going to lower interest rates, you would save $1 trillion a year. And there's nothing you can do to save that kind of money.
Did the Fed Chairman say why he's not lowering interest rates?
A little talk about it, and I thought it was a very productive talk. He'll be able to tell you at his next meeting, but I will say that he did say the country's doing really well. Really doing it.
Mr. President, how would you describe your talk with him? Would you say that the energy was tense? Did you come to any agreements with him?
No, I thought we had a good meeting. No, there was no tension. There was no tension. I think he had more tension with my great senator to the right. He's a pretty tough cookie. He was, you might say, well,
I mean, listen, bottom line is we had an honest, candid conversation about some of the overruns at this building. We had it in my banking committee, and he said we were wrong, and turns out we were right. Thank God President Trump and his team took enough time to dig into some of the details, and the details are clear. We need to get this project done. We would like to keep it where it is or a little lower, but at the end of the day, the point is that instead of talking about interest rates, instead of talking about first-time home buyers, instead of talking about the heat in our economy, that's a good thing, we're talking about an overrun on the Federal Reserve building as opposed to the Federal Reserve objective of lowering and keeping our economy full.
As an example, they built parking spots under a building next door.
Really expensive.
That's very expensive. When you're starting to build parking lots, underground parking lots, that's a very expensive thing. A lot of people I know, they park their car and they walk a block or 2 blocks or something.
My staff does.
But it is a very expensive thing. But that is what it is, and that's okay.
Is this project a fireable offense? Is this project a fireable offense for Jerome Powell?
Look, I would love to see it completed. I don't want to put that in this category. It's a very complex thing that could have been made simple. I built a great hotel, and the great hotel that everybody in this group knows very well, it's called the Old Post Office, and it's a much bigger project than this, and I spent $200 million building it. And it was taken down to the steel, for the most part, taken down, you've seen it go up. And I built it quickly, and I built it for $200 million. That was a much bigger job than this. Spent $200 million, and it's got marble bathrooms, the top fixture.
All right, so for the most part, it's basically saying we need to lower interest rates, and that this job that building this building, it shouldn't cost as much and take as much time as that it's taken. But like I said, this is what they do. This is how they milk the cow, bro. This is how they do it. Say they overpay for everything, bro. And it's just that's just what it is. I'm not going to repeat what I said, but this is all a game that is being played. But the ones who get hurt the most are us, the American people, who are the reason all of these buildings get built, these roads get paved, all of these things don't happen without American workers. Plain and simple. So it's ridiculous that they do these things, man. You would think as an American, right? These politicians as Americans, this is go to show you how corrupt like humans are. You would think that as Americans, you would do what's best for America. But they don't, because everybody is after an individual outcome for themselves. So they, like how you seen Obama on the hot mic with I believe he was like the president at the time, or somebody from Russia. And he was saying that, my presidency is about to be up and I'll be more flexible and this and like these backdoor deals, these, just so much corruption, bro. It's crazy. It's crazy, bro. And, Trump is trying to get shit done. He's trying to get it done. He's trying to get it done now. Like I was saying about the wildfire thing, she was talking all this regulation things. And he's like, no, we need to get it done now. People want to rebuild now, like today. and they're willing to do it. You standing in the way of it, and that's what they do. They stand in the way of progress, and that's all it is. But let's get into this update with Jim Jordan and on and Maria with on Fox. See what they was talking about.
The Department of Justice confirming it has received a criminal referral from DNI Tulsi Gabbard regarding bombshells that the Obama administration manufactured the Russia collusion narrative with Donald Trump, both before and after the 2016 election. The DNI told me initial intelligence showed Russia did not try to change the outcome of the election, and the Obama team knew that. The knowledge was pulled from the president's daily briefing due to what they called updated guidance. The next day, top national security officials met with Obama's cabinet, where President Obama asked not if, but how Russia tried to upend the election. Here's then President Obama speaking from the briefing room back in 2016. Watch.
At the beginning of the summer, we're alerted to the possibility that the DNC has been hacked. And I immediately order law enforcement as well as our intelligence teams to find out everything about it. So if you started seeing effects on the election, you might want to take this into account. We allowed law enforcement and the intelligence community to do its job without political influence. When we had a consensus around what had happened, we announced it, not through the White House, not through me, but rather through the intelligence communities that had actually carried out these investigations.
Did Clinton lose because of the hacking?
I'm going to let all the political pundits in this town have a long discussion about what happened in the election.
Joining me now is Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Mr. Chairman, always a pleasure. Good to see you. What do you make of watching the deja vu of Barack Obama back in 2016?
Well, I think the former president used the term updated guidance. I think that's a fancy way of saying we changed the story and we did it for political reasons, because that's what it looks like. Never forget, there's 3 key dates here, Maria. December 9th is when they have this meeting in the White House. Clapper, Brennan, McCabe, Comey, the president, they're all there, and they say, okay, we're not going to accept the intelligence community assessment. We're going to change that. And President Obama was just alluding to that. And then you have the date January 3rd. A few weeks later, Chuck Schumer goes on one of the Sunday shows and says, talking about then President-elect Trump, he says, if you mess with the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you. And then 3 days later, January 6th, they all go up to Trump Tower to give President Trump what he believes is his incoming defensive briefing as the new, as the president-elect. He thinks he's getting the normal defensive briefing. Instead, it's a setup. They go up there, talk to him about this, and then Comey tells him about the dossier that they already know is baloney. They know it's not true, came from the Clinton campaign and everything else. But they brief him on it so that when that information gets leaked, it has added credibility, because now it was so important that the FBI talked to the president-elect. The press has got to report it, and off and running goes the Russia collusion false narrative for the next 2 years. It was all to undermine President Trump and his presidency. And God bless Tulsi for sending this to the DOJ. I hope they dig into this. I mean, I hope that they go after this, because I think this is what it was, a conspiracy to undermine the first term of President Trump.
Yeah, but look, at the time, the mainstream media went with it, hook, line, and sinker, and of course, much of the media blasted it across the world. Not here, of course. We saw through it right away and reported accordingly. Yeah. But, we've been calling for accountability now since then. It's almost 10 years, Congressman. So it now falls to AG Pam Bondi and FBI Director Kash Patel on whether or not anything will actually be done about it. What are the odds?
Yeah. Well, I think they are digging into this, and I think that the facts are strong. Here's some other evidence I think is important. This was a setup when they went up there on January 6th to Trump Tower and gave President Trump this briefing. Yeah. It was a setup because a few weeks later they did the same thing to Michael Flynn, and Jim Comey then bragged about it. He said, when we went to the White House, he said we should have called the White House counsel. We should have let him know. We should have talked about this. He should have had a lawyer. All this should have been happening, but they just said, no, we thought it was a new administration. We could get in, we could get out, we could ask him questions. And there's even email correspondence amongst FBI agents from that time with General Flynn where they say, what's our goal? Are we trying to get him to lie? What's our objective here? They were setting up Michael Flynn just like they tried to set up the President of the United States. So this is what this whole operation was about. And again, let's hope that they dig into this and get all this information out there. And if they can prove that there's a crime, I hope they move forward with it.
Now, is this why they raided Mar-a-Lago in 2022? Because they wanted these documents that were sure to be declassified?
I don't know. I do think when you go back to this, what we're talking about in 2016, 2017, it's about a 30-day time period between that December 9th meeting, 2016, and when they go up to up to Trump Tower and do this briefing. I do think this is when the weaponization of government really began. This is when they said, forget the election. We're going to try to undermine his presidency now. Wow. It was bad enough what they tried to do spying on his campaign during the 2016 campaign. But now they're trying to undermine him after he's already won. So I do think that's when it all began.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's interesting because the bulk of these declassified documents reveal that, number one, they knew that the dossier was fake. They knew it was made up. And also they revealed that the FBI did not really investigate former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton for her private email server right? So both of those things were happening at the same time, and it was during a contest between the two players, Hillary Clinton versus dangerous. Tell us why.
Yeah, they spied on an opposing party's presidential campaign. And the evidence they used to get the warrant to spy on them was the Clinton campaign hired the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired Fusion GPS, a Democrat public relations firm, who hired a foreigner, Christopher Steele, who put together the garbage that became the dossier. And then they used that dossier to go spy on the other party's campaign. Meanwhile, they didn't go after Hillary Clinton for her emails and everything else she did from the server. That's what they did. And then when that didn't work, they said, oh, now we're going to undermine his presidency by concocting this story, going up to Trump Tower, giving him the defensive briefing that he's supposed to get. President Trump thinks that's what's happening, when in fact it's a setup, just like they set Michael Flynn up 3 weeks later. That's what this group did. And again, Tulsi now is highlighting the underlying intelligence and said there was nothing there. But the meeting in Obama's office, they all decided to change that. No. We're not going to send out that initial intelligence community assessment. We're going to put together a new one that will allow us to do what I just described.
Well, look, Hillary.
Hey, yo, I can only imagine what's going to happen when these whistleblowers come out and actually give actual factual evidence, like eyewitness accounts to these things that's going on. That's why I said, man, this shit is deep, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised, bro, if motherfuckers start coming up missing, man. Shit get wicked. But like, this is crazy though. Like, you know, I know we kind of going over basically what Tulsi already said yesterday during that press briefing, but just think about it, bro. Like they really tried to. They basically concoct a plan. Hillary was involved, bro. That's a wicked bitch. There's a lot of shit that people that don't know about Hillary Clinton, bro. Like she is one of them ones, bro, who on a very low. I'll give it to them. They be on the low with their shit, but they fucked up with this one, and they fucked up because Donald Trump got elected. And this is what happens when you fuck over the American people for so long. It comes to a point where where everybody's like, yo, we not doing this no more, you know, and put Trump back in office, which was the worst thing that could have happened for them, because now you got Tulsi, who was a Democrat all her life. Now she turned Republican this last campaign because she was seeing the bullshit. She was an eyewitness account to all the corruption in the Democratic Party. Now she's the director of national intelligence. So she's in the know of what's going on in all of these intelligence communities. You know what I mean? The CIA, the FBI, and all of that. You know, she has nothing to do with Pam Bondi and, you know, prosecuting, you know, Obama or whoever, but she is the one that's going to bring forth the evidence that is needed to go forward with the prosecution. But, you know, they're saying that they asking a question if President Obama got presidential immunity. So that might actually save him. Who knows? But it's definitely deep, man.
Clinton was ultimately accused of mishandling highly classified information while using a private email server set up in her home. In 2016, the FBI suggested to the DOJ that she should not face prosecution ahead of the presidential election. So there, I guess they found religion on not getting involved in a presidential election. But look, at the end of the day, this has been an exhausting 10 years because of all of these shenanigans, Congressman. You know that. You've been living it. So have I. And the audience as well. So how is anybody supposed to trust that there's actual, real, you know, work going on and honest work, and it's not all politics? I mean, you have to remove the people, don't you? Who should be getting fired? Putting you know, indictments and prosecutions aside, who needs to get fired and leave Congress for all of these lies?
Well, I do think that I've said this multiple times. I do think it's night and day compared to the kind of work you're seeing from Attorney General Bondi, Todd Blanche, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino at the Justice Department, compared to Merrick Garland and Christopher Wray. But this whole pattern that we've seen of going after President Trump, they spied on his campaign, then they tried to undermine his presidency with what I just described. Yeah. Then it was the whole Mueller investigation for 2 years. Then in the 2020 election, it was the 51 former intel officials, Clapper, right. Brennan, signing this crazy letter saying it was a Russian information operation when they had the Hunter Biden laptop. They knew it was real. And then once that happens, when he's running again in 24, it's Alvin Bragg, Fonnie Willis, Jack Smith, and all the things they did there. It has never stopped. But where it started is what Tulsi is now bringing forward. Stuff we suspected. We had some of the evidence, but she has even more. And that's why we need to go back there and dig into this, because this is where it all began.
Yeah, no, I understand. These are the two biggest scandals that anybody has ever seen. The first one being Russia collusion and a sitting president trying to stop an incoming president, Obama trying to stop Trump, and then the cover-up of Joe Biden's mental capacity and the use of the auto pen. Who the heck was running the country in the last 4 years? So now we hear from the former first son, Hunter Biden, returning to the limelight over the weekend in this new 3-hour interview. Here's one more of the bizarre takes on what he is criticizing of President Trump's immigration policy. Watch this.
People are really upset about illegal immigration. You. How do you think your hotel room gets cleaned? How do you think you got food on your table? Who do you think washes your dishes? If I became president, I would pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador and say, you either send them back or I'm going to invade.
Well, I mean, it's hard to understand with all those F-bombs in there, Congressman, but your reaction to Hunter Biden now coming out and cursing everybody out.
Yeah, I don't think he's ever going to become president. I think he said if I become president, I was going to do something. I don't know that that's likely to happen in this country, and thank goodness for that. No, I mean, this is the left talking. He's part of the left. I mean, what President Trump is doing is exactly what he campaigned on, and the American people appreciate it. We now have a secure border, which we didn't have before.
Yeah, man. So, it's pretty much... So, so anyway, man, Hunter Biden is a crackhead, man. Nobody taking no fucking advice from you, nigga. That motherfucker is crazy. But yeah, these are two of the biggest scandals, man. Because Joe Biden, bro, that nigga was not running the White House, bro. I believe it was like a collective thing between like Obama. I think Hillary was there, but on the low, she wasn't really trying to be seen. But I think Obama was definitely one of the ones, because you've seen him a lot. You've seen Obama a lot. It wasn't like he was like actually out in the public crazy, but you seen Obama. You don't see Hillary. Hillary is on the low with it. 'Cause she's a corrupt motherfucker too. But yeah, this whole thing is crazy though, man. I want to see what comes out of it, and definitely keep posting on it. But Obama is, you said, and his wife. Yeah, Obama is definitely corrupt as hell, man. And it's so much information out there. You got people who actually clipped a lot of things together, and you kind of see, like, it's kind of hard when you in them times and you watching these interviews that some of these politicians have. It's kind of hard for you to kind of see through the bullshit. But when things like this come out and you uncover certain things, you could kind of go back now and be like, oh, this is why he said this, so they be setting it up. Like, he actually had a press conference where he literally was setting up the bait for this whole Russia hoax. So this shit get crazy, man. I ain't even gonna lie. But yeah, man, let's get into this. So this is the sheriff, right? It's this dude, William McNeil, gets punched in the face by these police in Jacksonville, Florida. And you got, obviously, he already got I've seen I don't even know his name. I want to look it up though. I think the one guy name is like William Baker. Let me see real quick. So most of these guys are like civil rights activists. And I've seen them before. Like I said this before, that these people pop up. Never. I'm trying to get his name, man. Dang. So I can't really. Okay, Harry Daniels. Yeah, that's his name. Harry Daniels. He's one of them. But there's another guy. I've seen him before pop up with when these issues like this happen, you got these specific attorneys that just pop up out the blue. And I've said this before, when this is the thing that I don't like. It's nothing wrong with somebody that may not have the money to fight a case or something like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm not saying like there's nothing wrong with these attorneys representing this guy William, right? There's nothing wrong with it at all. I'm just saying it's crazy how they only pop up to represent black people when, it's a case that they can use to, politicize it. And I just don't like that, man, but this thing is kind of crazy. Real quick, you know what? Let's just get into the video, because this is the sheriff from the police, from that specific police department, I believe, and they're gonna run through the video. I want to kind of like go through it quick, and then at the end we're gonna give the response from the young boy who was punched.
Sheriff. So, good evening. Of course, I'm Sheriff T.K. Waters. This is Director Ed Cayenne from our Director of Homeland Security and Investigations. Our integrity unit also falls underneath him. That's why he's joining me up here this evening. Today, the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is releasing information regarding the circumstances of William Anthony McNeil Jr.'s arrest on February 19th of 2025. Yesterday, while I was in church, JSO became aware that cell phone camera footage purportedly of this arrest was circulating on social media. At my direction, the agency immediately began both a criminal and administrative review of the officer's actions. These administrative reviews are ongoing, but the State Attorney's Office has determined that none of the involved officers violated criminal law. Even though the administrative review has yet to be completed, we are releasing the body-worn camera footage today because Officer Bowers has consented to its release and waived his officer's bill of rights pertaining to the discrete piece of evidence. Because the administrative review is pending, the officer's bill of rights prevents me from releasing any additional information beyond these videos, as it is confidential under Florida Statute 112.532. As JSO's leader, I have vowed to be open and transparent with the public that we serve. Whether the information shared reflects well in this agency or not, I have always done my very best to tell the public exactly what's going on within the agency. When there are allegations of officer misconduct, our agency thoroughly investigates those allegations. When allegations of officer misconduct are sustained, we hold officers accountable, as I've done many times in the past. In this case, the cell phone camera footage that began viral circulation over the weekend does not comprehensively capture the circumstances surrounding this incident, and that is to be expected. Part of that stems from the distance and perspective of the recording cell phone camera. Another part of it stems from the fact that the cell phone camera did not capture the events that preceded Officer Bowers' decision to arrest McNeil. Moreover, cameras can only capture what can be seen and heard. So much context and depth are absent from recorded footage because the camera simply cannot capture what is known to the people depicted in it. As a 33-year law enforcement officer, I understand the importance of thorough and complete investigations. One piece of evidence considered in a vacuum without any context can lead to skewed conclusions. When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty. A rush to judgment, whether it be in a criminal investigation or in a court of public opinion, can lead to flawed conclusions. Tonight, I'm sharing the footage from the body-worn cameras of the arresting officer, Officer D. Bowers, and two of the assisting officers, Officer D. Miller and Officer G. Curse, so that the public has more complete understanding of this incident. Before I deliver the currently available information and play the relevant body-worn camera, I want to be clear about something. Yes, there absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. But as I've said many times before, the reality is that all force, all violence is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful or contrary to policy. But moreover, I want to provide the public with some background information pertinent to this incident. Since January 1st, 2025, Jacksonville Sheriff's Office has been involved in 38,805 traffic stops. Even as I speak, that number is climbing. The overwhelming majority of these tens of thousands of traffic stops were made without incident. After this traffic stop on February 19, 2025, McNeil was arrested for resisting a police officer without violence, driving on a suspended driver's license, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana. On February 20, 2025, McNeil pled guilty to and was adjudicated guilty of resisting a police officer without violence and driving on a suspended driver's license. Those pleas of guilty were accepted by a local judge who found them to have been factual basis and to have been voluntarily made by McNeil. After the resolution of this criminal case, McNeil took custody of his cell phone, the one he presumably used to record the footage that was shared on social media, on March 5th, 2025. At no time, February to now, did McNeil contact JSO to file a complaint, nor share with the agency the cell phone footage that is circulated on social media. As I said earlier, immediately upon becoming aware of this footage, JSO began a criminal and administrative investigations into the incident. Had McNeil filed a complaint, JSO would have started this investigation at that time. But we were not aware of this allegation or of improper use of force before this weekend. As this is agency's pattern of practice in any circumstances of use of force, the relevant body-worn camera footage was reviewed by multiple levels of supervision. However, as you'll see in short order, the body-worn camera footage does not capture Officer Bowers' response to resistance when McNeil was seated in the driver's seat. As I explained, although the State Attorney's Office has deemed it not criminal, the response to resistance is now subject of a pending administrative review to determine if Bowers' conduct violated JSO policy. The law requires that a person comply with the police officer's commands during a traffic stop. This is extremely important. There are not options. If you disagree, take care of it someplace else, but not on the side of the road. No one enjoys being the subject of a traffic stop. And there are times in which citizens dispute circumstances of their stops. But the law is clear. A person must comply with an officer's commands, even if that person disagrees with that officer's reasons for the stop. Within 21 seconds of his civil stop or civil traffic infractions, driving without illuminated headlights during the rain or failure to wear a seatbelt, McNeil refused to provide stopping officers with his driver's license and registration. 14 seconds later, he locked his car door and refused to exit the vehicle, despite being told many times that he was under arrest. Moreover, McNeil was warned 7 times that he needed to open the door and exit because he was under arrest for resisting an officer without violence, or police would be forced to break his car window. Soon after McNeil was outside his car, officers found a large, unsheathed serrated knife on the driver's side floorboard. Now I'll play relevant portions of the body-worn camera of the 3 officers, Officer Bowers, the stopping and arresting officer, Officer Miller, the second responding officer who spoke to McNeil from the passenger side of the vehicle, and Officer Curse, one of the assisting officers.
Yeah, Florida 24 Bravo Echo Charlie Whiskey on a silver Kia. I know how good.
Yes, sir.
Is there a reason why you're popping the door open like that?
I don't have a window that works. Is there a reason that you're pulling me over?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a reason why I'm pulling you over. For one thing, inclement weather, you don't have your lights on. Two things, you're not wearing your seatbelt.
It's daylight. I don't need the lights. And it's not weather. It's not raining.
Oh, this is inclement?
It's not raining.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm telling you why I'm pulling you over. Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor. Why?
Excuse me?
Call your supervisor. Why did you pull me over?
35. I'm fucking with the driver. I've already told you.
Why did you pull me over?
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
Step out of the vehicle.
Yo, off the rip, bro, I want to say, right, it's nothing wrong with understanding your rights, right? It's not, you gotta know the law to a degree. I'm not saying you gotta know that every law. You gotta know the laws, especially traffic stops, to a degree, right? Off the rip, you could tell boy was hostile or off the rip. That's just not a good way to be. I've been pulled over many a times. The first thing I do is pull out my phone and put it on record. So when they come up to the car, they know that you're being filmed for my safety, right? Now, he told him two things. He said, you didn't have your headlights on in inclement weather or something like that. I think that's bogus. It's like, come on. First of all, most vehicles, I know mine, it automatically comes on and off. You can obviously manually do it, but when it becomes daylight, they automatically go off. But that's kind of like bogus, you know. But he said he didn't have a seatbelt on. That's a valid reason. I'm not sure the laws in certain they vary in different states, but the one thing that I noticed from the door is that Bull was hostile off the rip. It ain't even 20 seconds in, and he already, why you pull me over? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? Like, give me your license and registration. Like, people don't understand, bro. These type of things go on, can get somebody hurt bad. He lucky that, you know, it wasn't a situation because the windows do look tinted, you know, so a cop can don't know what you're doing inside there, so maybe they can see, but they look tinted from here. But you're putting yourself in a position for no reason. Now, if you really truly feel like you didn't do anything, you still got to cooperate to a degree and then talk to a supervisor or handle it in court. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give you an example of a situation that happened to me, and you know how you, this is how you handle a situation. Well, let's watch more of this video.
25 seconds. For the 9-4, the driver just slammed the door and locked it. Yep. 25 seconds. If anybody responding, come in from Commonwealth, block the vehicle, please. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. My camera's on too. I've already told you. Okay. Okay. Right now you're under arrest for resisting. You understand? You're under arrest for resisting. The longer you take us on, the worse it's going to be. Keep your hands where I can see them, sir. Okay. Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. Open the door and exit or we are going to break the window. No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
Yo, bro, he told this nigga the same thing like 6 times, bro. I just don't understand it, bro. Like, you getting hostile with a motherfucker that got a gun to legally have it. And, you know, not saying that he could just use it for no reason, but if this dude, he in the car, you know, he's telling them, keep your hands where I can see him. So at any point, this dude can, you know, reach for something, anything, his phone or something, and put himself in a situation where they start shooting him. You know what I mean? I believe a lot of these, I'm not saying these specific cops, but it'd be a lot of cops, bro, that be out here and, you know, you do regular traffic shit, that's normal. But when you get into these type of situations, motherfuckers be fidgety, bro. I'm not taking a chance with a motherfucker that might be scared because he think I'm motherfucking a gangbanger or a thug or whatever the case may be. You know, some of these motherfuckers be profiling, you know, but that's what happens, bro. Profiling happens when you got a majority of people who are, let's just say, black, you know, and we dress a certain way, motherfuckers act a certain way. So, of course, motherfuckers gonna stereotype, bro. It is what it is, you know? But he doing too much already.
Vehicle's blocked in. He's locked it up. He's putting the window down. In fact, trying to talk to 2574. Break the window. I'm about to break the window.
Hey, yo, look, they like at this point, I'm just getting out the car, bro. These motherfuckers already hella deep. You're in a lose-lose situation. What would even, like, at this point, it's just like, yo, let me just go ahead, man, for these motherfuckers fucking me up, bro. Like, it's crazy, bro.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Shit start getting rowdy.
1033 at 15:21 hours.
What is your reason, sir? Step out. What is your reason? Step out now. Get on the ground. No, don't fuck it. Get on the ground.
Put your hands behind your back. Hands behind your back.
What's wrong with you? What you mean? I was putting my hands behind my back. I was going to walk.
Ain't no talking now, man. Ain't no talking.
Fucking 2%, bro. I'm doing, bro. What's going on, man?
You're under arrest. That's what's going on.
No, bro. Yes, bro. Yes. No reason, bro. You gonna throw my phone like that, bro?
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off now, man. Bro.
And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation with y'all, bro.
You just got to see what's in the
So your partner didn't even ask.
Marijuana in his right pocket.
Yes, it is. So why close the door if you see him pull up? Because, man, what you mean? He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong, bro.
I don't know.
Can you back me up to the car so I can mean up? What up? You done bust my bro.
25. So you start rescue. 1067. Approximately 30-year-old Bravo Mike. Lacerations on the lip.
2570.
I'm gonna go around and get in this car. Okay. There you go. Yeah. I know. We should have put some gloves on, bro. No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What's your name? You good? Yeah, you or him? Oh, okay. We'll get ready for you too long.
Clear for ready to proceed.
So I guess they playing, oh, this the guy that pulled up right in front of him, I think. Yeah. They probably giving you all the different views, yeah.
Sir, can you please ask him what did I do wrong?
Well, we're conducting a traffic stop right now. You need to comply.
I am complying.
Hey, unlock the car. I'm going to push it up.
Open the door and exit. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting. Under arrest for resisting. I'm the actual officer that works from.
Can you unlock the door and step out?
Can you talk to me though?
I will. Can you step out?
Because you don't even know the whole situation.
You're being done. There's a traffic stop being conducted. You're required to comply.
And I'm required to actually.
So this officer is actually like just being more respectful. You know what I'm saying? He's just like, look, just comply. Like, you know, at this point, bro, you just gotta just like, what? It's not worth it, bro. I mean, now they done punched you all in your shit, you know, slammed you on the ground. And you got to understand, too, these other officers are coming there really with no knowledge of really what's going on, outside of you not complying and you giving this other cop a hard time. At the end of the day, bro, police officers, for the most part, bro, they're gonna stick together, bro. Just what it is. They're not on your side. So you're in a situation where you're not complying, you're not, you know, obeying their commands. He done told you 6 times to get out the car. They getting mad. You making them mad. And all of this could easily have been avoided. This the same thing that happened to George Floyd. Now, mind you, what Derek Chauvin did was weak. That shit was corny. You know, it was unnecessary. Dude had handcuffs on. He had his knee on his neck for hella long. Like, that was weak. He deserved to go to jail for all the time that he did. Actually, longer. You took that man's life. But even that situation could have been avoided. Had he just complied, got in the car, he would have got out the same day. It'd have been over. Same thing with this dude. You doing all of this, putting yourself in a situation that can, you know, get you hurt, killed, all of these different things that could happen. Luckily, they didn't. But it could have all been avoided. Who knows? This cop probably would have been like, gave you a little ticket for having your head, like you'd have paid a $35 ticket, been on your way. Now, because my whole thing is, they said that his license was suspended, which would have been a valid reason for them pulling him over too. But I don't know if he didn't get to say it because Bull was already getting hostile, but he didn't mention that in his video. But, you know, he said his license was suspended. All the other stuff happened after the fact. Finding the weed, the knife, and all of that. They didn't know he had any of that. That's all shit that happened after the fact. They're going to use that to better their arguments for on the police officers' behalf. You know what I'm saying? But for me, the moral of this whole story is it could have just been avoided, bro.
Yes. Correct. Huh? Okay. So what did he ask for when he I guess talked to you?
When he pulled me over, he
yeah.
Open my door because my window don't work. Right?
Okay.
And then I said, so what I did wrong?
Yeah.
He said, well, for one, your headlights are off under this weather. I'm like,
okay.
There's multiple people headlights.
Okay, that's still a legitimate reason to pull somebody over.
There's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on. Huh? Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will. Huh? All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle. Show me your hands.
Here.
33 at 15 hours.
I'm here. What's your reason, sir? What is your reason? Step out now. All right. Get on the ground. Don't fucking get on the ground. Stop fighting. Behind your back. I'm resisting.
Hands behind your back.
To me, all that's unnecessary, bro.
2574, lift 1033, one
Because the reason why I say it's unnecessary is because this dude's skinny. He ain't big. It's 5, 6, 7 of y'all. It's gonna be nothing for y'all to get this man down. You punching him all in his back and all of that shit. To me, that be the shit that make me mad. You know what I mean? Like, this is excessive, bro. That part to me is excessive. For some reason, it's not showing the part where he got punched in the face. I don't know if it just didn't catch it, the body angles, but I didn't see that part yet. So I guess that part was on the boy that got punched. I guess on his camera shows him getting punched.
Stop. We know now, man. Ain't no talking. I'm cool, bro. What's going on, man?
And another thing I want to say is you can't sit here and say, oh, it's a black cops there too. Because that's what they're going to do. They're going to claim, you know, he was black, and that's the reason why, you know, he might have got pulled over because he was black. I don't know, you know. But that we really don't know, you know. They said it was because of his headlights or whatever. Cops, listen, if it's law, anything, that's why, man, I just put my seatbelt on. Because in New Jersey, you can get pulled over for not having your seatbelt on. So I just put it on, bro. Because I'm not even beat to get pulled. I'm not beat for them to have a reason to pull me over at all, bro. I'm at that point in my life where I ain't trying to be too cool. You know, I always put tinsel on my cars, but I make sure it's legal. Everything just be legal, bro. It's just make it easy on yourself. Like, because all of this shit right here, I'll say it again, could have been avoided. And they're going to claim these civil rights attorneys going to get involved because it's a potential big payday from the state and for this family. Everybody gonna look for a payday, bro. That's all it's about, really. You know what I mean? That's all they really care about. Motherfuckers look like, oh, this is an opportunity, you know, to get some press, to get in the news, to get you be surprised, bro. You think these attorneys really give a fuck about you, but they really don't, bro. All they care about is a payday, bro. They trying to get paid from the state because they gonna get a little 5, 10%, whatever it is, of your money, and that's all they care about, bro. They don't care about your fucking civil rights being violated or none of that. They looking at a potential way to get paid. But there's a black cop here too, and he told him, he said, man, ain't no talking now, bro. Like, we gave you know what I'm saying? We gave you the opportunity to get out, to be regular, to make this whole situation calm and cool. And, you know, the one officer, you know, obviously, like, being, he was definitely aggressive, like, but you could, to a degree, it's like, you understand, it's like, you pop the door, but all right, your window don't work, cool. But then you off the rip, you got an attitude, you being hostile, and then when I tell you to give me your license and registration, you like, no. And then you close the door, lock it, and now you're trying to talk to me through the window. So he taking all of these things as signs of disrespect. You disrespecting me. You know what I mean? But
No.
Yes, bro. Yes.
I have a lawful reason, bro.
you see how they keep saying, yes, bro. They trying to mock him.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it off of you, bro.
Good? Yeah. And I'm just trying to have a regular conversation.
That's not how it works.
Too late. It ain't no too late.
When they asked you to step out of the vehicle, you should have done that.
So your partner didn't even act.
Marijuana
Your partner
in the right pocket.
Yes, it is.
So why close the door if you see him pull up?
Because, man, what you mean?
The two black cops.
Arresting me and stuff, but I didn't do nothing wrong.
Resisting, idiot.
I didn't do nothing wrong.
Camera going in there.
Can you back me up to the car so I can clean up? Get up.
Motherfuckers out of shape as hell. Motherfuckers tired as shit. 5-second take now.
I did.
Okay. That ain't good.
You good?
Yo, another thing I want to say too, man, I think policemen need to go through way more extensive training, bro. A lot of these guys, you know, aren't equipped mentally to be in these situations, bro. And you know, and that's why they quick to react and go straight to like lethal force and just violence, because motherfuckers don't know how to. You could tell, bro. I've seen videos where cops, they know how to stay level-headed and keep their composure even under like situations that's hostile. And that's how you're supposed to be as a police officer. You know what I mean? You're supposed to de-escalate off, no matter what the goal and the objective is, to de-escalate the situation. You know, now in this case, they really couldn't do anything else other than what they did, to be honest. I mean, I don't agree with the excessive force, because it's a lot of y'all. It's just him. You know, once you bust the window, I didn't see anything where the bull was like, you know, fighting them, like pulling back or doing anything crazy. You know, he just pretty much, they took the seatbelt off and they pretty much pulled him out the car. You know, so there was nothing there for me to say, you know, he actually gave him a reason to start punching on him and shit. I think that's why I said that police officers need to go through like real extensive training, not just how to carry a gun and how to do, you know, no, you need to go through mental training. You need to make sure that these police officers are mentally stable and able to handle like these type of situations when they're under pressure. Because you got a gun, you know, you're going to be in crazy situations, and you need to be able to like control yourself. You know, this dude that I don't know which one of them was that was punching, but to me that was extra. You did all of that for what? That just seemed like it was coming from a place of like anger. Like you was angry. I understand to a degree, but you're so angry that you start punching on them, even though y'all have it under control. That's, to me, is excessive.
You should put some gloves on, bro.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You could tell these motherfuckers ain't. You could tell they ain't never been into a fight. They never been in no real. These dudes ain't never been in no real situations, bro. They sitting there, oh, my hand, look at my hand. My hand hurts. Oh. Like, you acting like a bitch. You supposed to be a fucking police officer. You acting like a hoe. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said, bro, these motherfuckers ain't really built for some of this shit that they be doing. And motherfuckers acting crazy.
Huh?
You see that, John?
What? The knife? Yeah, that's it.
Out of breath facility. Man.
It's a lot of flat sticks.
From you?
Let's fast forward a little bit.
Car
dirty as hell, boy. Yeah. Dirty ass shit.
One video clip, devoid of context, can be very misleading. Given that McNeil never brought this incident to JSO's attention, but rather pushed the cell phone camera footage that he had in his possession since March 5th out on social media, one can only assume, and I'm saying I assume, that he intended to inflame the public. The administrative process is still ongoing, and as such, I will neither defend nor commend Officer Bauer's response to resistance until all the facts are known and the investigation is completed. However, as the leader of this agency, I will not remain silent while important facts and information are buried to advance an anti-police agenda. The truth is, William McNeil Jr. was non-compliant with JSO officers within 21 seconds after he was stopped for multiple civil infractions. His non-compliance quickly...
So, that's pretty much, you know, the gist of that video. He's going to pretty much try to, you know, say that, you know, his officers acted in a lawful manner and, you know, all of that. But I wanted to play this real quick. I know they ain't knock his tooth out. Oh, man. All right, let's see what he talking about, man. This black dude right here in the corner, though, he is one of the ones who pop up whenever something happens with a black guy and some white cops and shit like that. He gonna pop up. He gonna be in the area ready to go, ready to try to get some money.
That day, I just really wanted to know, you know, why I was getting pulled over.
It's a little quick little clip.
Why I needed to step out the car when I know I didn't do nothing wrong.
Right now, right, I want you to know this, right? Before he got up here and gave this, right, they was like, look, we need you to drop a tear. We need you to be convincing. We need the public on our side, you know, and they coached him, you know, but he can't help but, you know, he's trying to, I think I seen a sniffle in there somewhere. But let's see how he act.
I was really just scared.
Just see that video made me go back to the moment when I was 22. It hurted. It made me upset.
My bad.
Mm-hmm. But I seen what my son did that I had to do. And he sought right. And he did right. To see that it's a hurting feeling. To be a father that loved God first. Mm-hmm. And to see all my kids not being able to wake up in the morning and get a phone call saying your child is gone. Wow. That's a hurting feeling, but I thank God.
Yes.
Because God got him.
I want you to try to put yourself in our shoes. Try to put yourself in William's shoes just for a second. The police stop you and tell you, you say, why are you stopping me? And they say, well, you don't have your headlights on and it's raining. And you look and you're like, there's no rain. Why are you stopping me? And all he does, why I say it's a Rosa Parks 21st century moment, he as a black person says, you know, I'm tired of it.
Shit be killing me, bro, because they always got to bring the black and shit. And it was black cops there too, bro. There was black cops there. The sheriff that's in charge, right, is black. The guy that was standing behind him, I believe he was talking about him, was black, which means they probably have a lot of black officers in that area of Jacksonville, bro. But they are this the shit that I don't like. You know, I'm cool with you, you know, playing the victim and doing all of this shit. But stop trying to always make everything a race thing. He got pulled over for what he got pulled over for. He was hostile from the door. And, you know, like I said, I don't agree with the punching him in the face and then punching him when he was on the ground. I don't respect that. I think that is excessive and that's corny. But at the end, and if they're wrong about anything, they're wrong about that. But stopping them, first of all, you seen the raindrops that was on the window. So whether it was raining right then and there or drizzling or whatever the case may be, in that state, that's a valid reason to pull somebody over. But what we won't never know, right? What we won't ever know is what the cop would have did if he just complied. That's the part that everybody is going to skip over. These attorneys are definitely not going to say. how all of this could have been avoided if he would have just gave him his license and registration. You know why he didn't comply? Because he knew that his license was suspended. I doubt it if he was 22. I don't know. I doubt it if he probably ever been to jail or anything. I don't know. You know, it's speculative. But he knew his license was suspended and he wasn't supposed to be driving. And when people are doing something that breaks the law, of course they're going to be on the defense. Why you pull me over? I shouldn't even be pulled over. Because he knows he got a knife in the car, he got some bud in his pocket, and he got his license suspended. These are all things that he knows. And this is the reason why he's acting like this. He's not acting like this because he genuinely feels slighted because he got pulled over for some headlights. And they said that he had a suspended license. But if you watch the video, everything happened really quick. He said, I pulled you over because you didn't have your headlights on during this type of weather. And he said you didn't have your seatbelt on. He didn't even get, I'm pretty sure, I'm not going to say that he was going to say it because I don't know. But they said, the sheriff said his license was suspended. But he didn't even get a chance to get that out. But just not having your seatbelt on alone is enough for them to pull you over, bro. You know what I'm saying? But this shit right here just be blowing my shit.
I'm going to try to demand my constitutional rights. That's the only thing that William McNeil did. And that's the only thing you would want your children to do. To say, as a citizen, don't I have the right to know why you're violating my Fourth Amendment rights against search and seizure unlawfully? That's it, nothing more. So search your hearts, America. If this was your child, wouldn't you be proud that William kept his calmness and his demeanor and de-escalated it? And let that govern you when you call on the sheriff to hold these police officers accountable. Because that's what we have to get here. We have to have accountability.
A man who was seen on video getting beaten during a traffic stop back in February.
Yeah. But yeah, man, they said it's from February, but this is like popping up all over. So I figured I'd talk about it. But man, I just don't understand, bro. I wanted to look something up real fast. 2 seconds. Okay. So look. Now, I'm not saying I'm only bringing this up to let you know that these attorneys pop up on things that they can bring to the public and make very big, right? So this dude, Ben Crump, right? He's a prominent civil rights attorney known for representing families in high-profile cases, particularly those involving police brutality and racial injustice. Some of his most famous cases include the deaths of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, George Floyd, and Breonna Taylor. He has also represented the families of Ahmaud Arbery, Tyree Nichols, and Christian Hall. Also represented victims in the Flint water crisis and the family of Henrietta Lacks. So I'm bringing that up not to say that it's anything wrong to represent these families, right? There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying, why you only pop up for these big cases? Like, I always see this dude whenever anything happens that, you know, that they can try to publicize and make, you know, race a part of it. You know what I mean? And some of the cases, you know, I don't know, but I'm a little conflicted with that, man, because on the other hand, I'm thinking like, you know, most of these families can't afford, you know, attorneys and stuff like that. So in a way, maybe it's a good thing. I don't know. But I just be hating to see, like, you know, like motherfuckers just always just popping up to just take advantage of a situation, man. And that shit just be corny. But you know, they'll sit there and say, like, come on, bro, why are you lying? Everybody can see the footage. He was not keeping his composure. He didn't keep his composure. He literally shut the door from the rip. In the first 30 seconds, he shut the door and locked it and was giving him a hard time. But he's not going to say that because he wants to sue. He wants to get a payday. And they'll probably get it because most of these states, they just be wanting it to go away. You know what I mean? So, and he knows that. He's an attorney, bro. They know how this shit go. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? We gonna sue for $150 million. You know, and they gonna settle out for a little 20, 30. They cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this shit be crazy, bro. I just don't. So stupid, bro. Literally could have been avoided. All he had to do was just give him his license and everything. But these are the things that people aren't going to take into consideration, right? They're just going to say, oh, the cop was white, he was black, he was racist, he got pulled over for being black, you know? And that's just what they're going to go to, bro. It's just unfortunate, but that's the times we live in, bro. We so divided that it doesn't matter what happened, bro. A motherfucker look at you, yo, the fuck you looking at, bro? Fucking racist ass cracker. You be taking this racial shit crazy, man. And it's just like not the majority. That's my whole thing. It's like a small minority of people who are racist. And, you know, we always talking about how white people racist, but black people just as racist, bro. Just as racist, bro. If not more racist. You know what I'm saying? We'd be quick to call a white motherfucker a cracker. Fucking cracker. We start going in. Like, we quick to do it. You know what I'm saying? But a motherfucker call you the N-word, then, you know, it's over. But I don't know, man. That shit's so dumb. But I'm not telling people, I would never tell people to just comply in the sense of like, all right, I'm gonna give you real quick to end it off. When I had been, and I don't even know if I said this before. I might have, who knows? I don't care. But I was pulled over, and I was pulled over because I was racially profiled, for sure. At the time, I was working at this job, and every night when we got off, me and my peoples stop at Wild Wild. It was a routine, and then we head back home. He would usually drive because I didn't have a license, right? He had a license, so I would go pick him up, and he would drive to work. When we got off, he would drive to his house, and I would drive from his house to my house, right? And it was smooth. It was fine. The car was legal. Everything was good on it. Wasn't nothing wrong with the car or nothing to make them want to pull me over or nothing. And I followed the law. I had no license, and I wasn't beat to get pulled over. So I'm going seatbelt on, making sure I'm using all my lights, signals, and all that. So we leaving the Wawa. We stop at the light. We at the light, and then we going on it's called the White Horse Pike, and we at the light, and it's got to make a left on the White Horse Pike, and while I'm at the light, I see the cop. He on the White Horse Pike. He turned in, and there's a bar right there across the street from the Wawa. He go around the bar, and he sit there. I'm at the light, already got my signal on. Boom, light turn green. I bust the left. Soon as I pass him, he pulls out right behind me. I tell my boy, yo, we about to get pulled over. So he turned on his lights. I pull over. I tell my mans, I said, yo, not that he could, but I'm just like letting him know because he was Spanish, didn't speak English too good, but he knew what I was saying. But I was like, yo, don't give him no consent to search nothing or nothing. Boom, I pulled out my phone. He come up to the window. And I asked him, why you pulled me over? He said, I didn't use my signal at the light. So off the rip, I know he lying, right? So I'm like, okay, I didn't get hostile, none, I'm calm. I say, all right, cool. I said, look, here go my ID. I don't have my license, but this is my ID. I said, it's fine. I said, I'm going to go to court. I said, because I'm going to go to court, I said, I'm going to get the footage from that traffic light because it was a camera on that traffic light. And I'm going to go to court, and I'm going to beat this anyway. And I gave him my license. I mean, my ID, and he left. He went in to his car. While It was cold as hell that day too. It was real windy and it was cold as shit. And he, long story short, he asked me to get out the car. Another cop come. I'm outside the car. My man's in the car. He talking to my man's in the car. I already told my man's what to do. I'm talking to the cop. Cop, cool. You know, we just talking. I'm like, yeah, you know, coming from work. He asking me little dumb shit like that. Coming from work, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I use my signal. I'm like, I don't have a license. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? I do the speed limit, use my. So anyway, long story short, the cop come up to me and he say, you know, here you go, yeah, ID. So our system is messed up, so we're going to let you go. You know, just let your friend drive. And, you know, long story short, they let me go. Bullshit. I just let him know I don't have my license. I was honest with him. I told him I'm going to go to court and I'm going to beat this because I'm going to get that footage. Whether I was bluffing or not, he didn't know that. But just the fact that I knew, I said, bro, because I told him, I said, bro, I seen you go around the bar. I said, I don't have a light. I said, I seen you go around the bar, and why wouldn't I use my blinker when I seen you? Like, I don't have a license. But I was like, it's fine. And I gave him my license. He went on, I'm gonna get my ID, went on, and then he came back, let me go. I let my man drive, and we went on about our way. And I got no ticket. And that was all because I let him know, like, bro, I'm gonna beat it. And I was. If I really would have got that footage, showed that I had my blinker on, he would have probably got in trouble or write up or something. Who knows? But it would have been proven that you pulled me over just because I was black, or, you know, most people think I'm Spanish, whatever. You seen two Spanish-looking niggas in the car and you wanted to pull us over. But that's how you handle a situation. Most of the times, I've been pulled over before with him in the car. He has light out, camera out. He come up to my car. I'm in the passenger side. I got my seatbelt on. Asked me for my license. I ain't break no laws. I don't have to give you my license. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting there saying that every situation is going to go that smoothly. But if, let's just say he would have pressed me. Nah, you got to give me your license. You got to do this. You got to do that. Huh. I'm recording this whole thing. I already told him that I don't have to give him my license, which let him know I knew the law. After that, you just violated me. So now I might have a little civil lawsuit or something. I don't know. But I'm just saying, son, it ain't for me. It's not worth getting all hot. That to me is you doing too much. I'm not trying to fight no police and do all that extra shit. It ain't going to do nothing but make the situation worse for you because you just going to rack up more charges. From something that could have been a simple $35 ticket can turn into thousands of dollars quickly. But anyway, man, with all the difficulties in the show today, that pissed me the fuck off. Seriously, like I was mad. I was angry. It is what it is, man. I guess that's just the nature of going live. Things happen. It is what it is. I was able to get back up and running. I had a few because this is why it's so important to keep your composure in any situation. Because I was mad that it happened, you know, I was making little dumb mistakes with the video, but we ended up getting through it. It is what it is, man. But this your boy SL550. This is the N.G.L.A. podcast. Make sure y'all like, share, subscribe to the channel. I truly appreciate the ones who locked in with me, even when it went out. And I do appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I drop a dope video. This your boy SL550. I'm out.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams. I know niggas who played ball and gave it up for lean.
Millionaire thoughts, billionaire dreams, but my account in overdraft, I'm about to scream.
Rich man greed,
a poor man prayers.
Every man bleeds,
but look how God made us.
Too many losses, it's only right that we win. Yeah, I made a promise I'm never gonna lose again.